Right.
you know.
As a small little quirk of history, it seems like you're related to Jordan Peterson,
Hmm.
like you mentioned. He's going through some rough stuff now. Is there some comment you can make about the roughness of the human journey, the ups and downs?
Well, I became an expert in benzo withdrawal, which is you took benzodiazepines, and at some point they interact with GABA circuits, to reduce anxiety and do 100 other things. Like there's actually no known list of everything they do because they interact with so many parts of your body. And then once you're on them, you habituate to them, and you have a dependency. It's not like you're a drug dependency where you're trying to get high. It's a metabolic dependency. And then if you discontinue them, there's a funny thing called kindling, which is if you stop them and then go, you'll have a horrible withdrawal symptoms. If you go back on them at the same level, you won't be stable. And that unfortunately happened to him.
Because it's so deeply integrated into all the kinds of systems in the
It
body.
literally changes the size and numbers of neurotransmitter sites in your brain.
Yeah.
So there's a process called the Ashton protocol where you taper it down slowly over 2 years. The people go through unbelievable hell. And what Jordan went through seemed to be worse because he, on advice of doctors, well, stop taking these and take this. It was a disaster. And he got some, it was pretty tough. He seems to be doing quite a bit better intellectually. You can see his brain clicking back together. I spent a lot of time with him. I've never seen anybody suffer so much.
Well, his brain is also like this powerhouse, right? So I wonder, does a brain that's able to think deeply about the world suffer more through these kinds of withdrawals? Like,
I don't know. I've watched videos of people going through withdrawal. They all
rough.
seem to suffer unbelievably. And my heart goes out to everybody. And there's some funny math about this. Some doctor said, as best he can tell, there's the standard recommendation is don't take them for more than a month and then taper over a couple of weeks. Many doctors prescribe them endlessly, which is against the protocol, but it's common, right? And then something like 75% of people, when they taper, it's, half the people have difficulty, but 75% get off okay. 20% have severe difficulty and 5% have life-threatening difficulty. And if you're one of those, it's really bad. And the stories that people have on this is heartbreaking and tough.
So you put some of the fault at the doctors that just not know what the hell they're doing.
Who knows? It's hard to say. It's one of those commonly prescribed things. Like one doctor said, what happens is if you're prescribed them for a reason and then you have a hard time getting off, the protocol basically says you're either crazy or dependent.
Mm.
And you get kind of pushed into a different treatment regime. You're a drug addict or a psychiatric patient. And so, like one doctor said, I prescribed them for 10 years thinking I was helping my patients, and I realized I was really harming them. And, the awareness of that is slowly coming up. The fact that they're casually prescribed to people is horrible. And it's bloody scary. And some people are stable on them, but they're on them for life. Like once it's another one of those drugs but benzos long range have real impacts on your personality. People talk about the benzo bubble where you get disassociated from reality and your friends a little bit. It's really terrible.